Welcome back, everybody, to another Basement Binge episode. If this is your first episode, welcome. Hopefully, it's the first of many. This is going to be a very, very unique episode. It's about a short film because this unintentional animation season just kind of happened out of nowhere. All of a sudden, before I got into the schedule of binging movies again and series, I wanted to watch some animated films that I love because I just adore animation. I thought I'd sneak in an amazing animated short film in here, and it's actually very topical. First, I want to mention that the Your Name episode that I mentioned a little while ago is coming, but I'm having a little bit of a perfectionist attitude with it. So I'm taking a little bit more time on it, but also it's been a busy week, which I'll talk about more in the Your Name episode, and it's just haven't been able to work on it as much as I anticipated. To not keep you guys waiting for episodes, and also to hopefully get back to achieving the goal of 100 episodes this year that I got way thrown off of at the beginning. Anyway, this is a short, quick episode that I'm going to get out, and it's about a short film. It's very fitting because my wife and I, one of the things that's made this week difficult is that we have a cold. We both have a cold, and it's miserable. It's not COVID. We got tested today. We're fine. But we've both had a cold of varying ranges of severity, alternating with each other. And thinking about this cold and blowing my nose, and now my nostrils are so dry, and just below my nose, my top of my lip just is sore and dry. I immediately thought about this short film. I don't know if it's called O or parenthesis, OO parenthesis, whatever. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. You saw the title. The link to the short film that's 6 minutes long on Vimeo and YouTube is in the show notes at the very, very top. It's a short animated film from Seoro. I'm sure I mispronounced it. He's South Korean. Incredible animator. He's currently working on a series and also I think works for TED Talks. He makes animated segments for TED Talks I've seen as well. Anyway, he's a phenomenal animator. This is a short film about the universal feeling of having a cold. And watching it, I watched it months ago. I found it months ago because I stumbled upon his other short film called Afternoon Class, which I also recommend. But this one I just thought was genius and also hilarious as it visually, artistically, and incredibly creatively talks about having a cold. Now, there's not much to talk about because there's no audio. I mean, there's no dialect. It's just music and sound design, which I've got to mention is a phenomenal part of this film. This sound design is unbelievable on top of the animation. It's 2D animation, and unintentionally, I've just started watching a lot of animated films, and animation is something that I'm developing more and more of a love for. And seeing the animation that just visually, artistically, and technically is amazing and totally mind-blowing, but used in such a creative, artistic way is just amazing. These are emotions that I think just about every human on the earth can relate to when it comes to having a cold. It's just miserable. That you could not create the same humor or the same reality through words. This is something that visual language could only compose and create and express. And it's amazing to see someone so talented do that. Same thing applies for his other short Afternoon Class, but particularly this one. Things that I've waited for an explanation of to just be portrayed visually is amazing. I recommend you watch it. It's tons of fun. It's hilarious. Having a cold while watching this was just incredibly relatable. And it was actually funny. Right after I watched it, I was working on the episode, just composing a few thoughts for it before I sat down to record. My wife, driving home, gave me a call, and she was like, "Oh, this is miserable. I'm so sick. Do you remember that short video you showed me a while ago? That's what I felt like." And she immediately began to describe some segments of the short film. And it's just hilarious that something is so creative at explaining what it's like to be miserable with a cold. Now, to just talk about it a little bit, it's hard to describe because it's truly just visual language. Like I said, there's no dialogue in it. It's all incredible sound design and animation. And the way that the animation and the sound design creates transitions, it creates a visual story. Like, it's not just images on a screen in a PowerPoint going from one to another. There's transitions that are just amazing. And on top of just being visually incredible and impressive to watch, and I just could watch it forever. So again, just incredible animation, amazing sound design, and just creativity to create a story about the emotion of having a cold. Blowing your nose, snot dripping down, you got mucus in your throat, then you can't smell anything, you can't breathe, and then finally it's over. And there's just some scenes. There's two that I want to talk about that just I absolutely die laughing of every single time. Watch it. It's 6 minutes long, then come back to this. So the scene when he starts to sneeze at the beginning, and then it like shows that a gun is being loaded, and then he sneezes a bunch, and then the missile drops, and he tries to block it with his arm, and then the huge explosion is so relatable. You can feel yourself sneezing, you feel a big one coming, you try and block it, and it's just awful. The other scene that just gets me is when he's trying to blow his nose and he can't. And he just like sucks in a huge breath and goes to blow his nose and nothing happens. And it shows the pressure going up to his eardrums and exploding. Oh my gosh, I've never felt more understood in that moment than anything else, right? He's trying to blow his nose, nothing's coming out, it's barely coming out at all. And then he goes to blow his nose harder than he ever has in his life. It blows out his eardrums. Everybody's felt that, I'm going to say. People have felt these things, shredding off endless amounts of tissue or whatever your preferred nose blower cloth is. And you just feel like you're blowing your nose all day. And you just need to wring out your entire face, it feels like. And then the sandpaper on your mouth and your upper lip, it's just so clever. Someone was able to create that emotion and visually portray that so impressively. So I'm rambling at this point about how amazing it is, but I really hope you watch it and see the potential. I hope we get more of this director, this animator. I know he's working on a series. It's like, I forget the name of it, but it's just in essence like a town of robots. Looks really amazing. It's totally different animation. This is 2D animation. That series is 3D animation. Both kind of stylistically, especially color-wise, are very similar. I'm excited for that. But also his video Afternoon Class, which I'll also link below, but just briefly talk about it. The way that someone like this can just visually, so creatively explain things in a way that words and reality never could. To express what it feels like to have a cold or to be falling asleep in an afternoon class. You can just say, oh my gosh, I've got a cold and I'm miserable and I feel like I'm blowing my nose all the time and my upper lip hurts. Right? That was like 5 seconds. And it doesn't convey the subconscious feelings of it. It doesn't convey the emotion. It conveys it as like a fact, as something that's just is, but it doesn't really convey the emotion. And watching something like this is almost a little bit cathartic. Just to be like, oh yeah, that is what it feels like. But it's also great to have humor to rely on when you're miserable with a cold. So both the Afternoon Class and parenthesis, parenthesis, just ingenious animation to convey something visually that words are unable to do. And this is why I love art. This is why I love films, is it's a medium that can do things that words never can. And the fact that these just have pictures and sounds, incredibly creative pictures and sounds that took incredible technical skill to create, incredible technical, just amazing visuals and sounds that required incredible technical skills and creativity to make and to compile, is just mind-blowing to me. On top of that, it's just tons of fun to watch. So I definitely recommend them. I'm sorry this has been a weird episode. If this is your first Basement Binge episode, what a random one that's your first. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for downloading this random episode. I hope you enjoy the short film that you watch and you laugh, because it genuinely is hilarious. And I hope that you don't have a cold and that you're not feeling miserable like me. But I will say there are more episodes coming. Your Name specifically is the next episode coming, also about beautiful animation. I've just been on an animation fix. I'm excited to get the things like Mission Impossible and maybe even the Fast franchise, if that's something that you guys are wanting. Anyway, sorry for the delay on the Your Name episode. It is coming. I just want it to be as good as I hope it can. Now, it probably falls short of that because I'm having a perfectionist attitude, but it's coming. Thanks you to those who have contributed. If you want to contribute, you can contact me on Discord, which is bingebasement number 9093, or you can email me bingebasement@gmail.com. about the film Your Name. It's a phenomenal film. If you haven't seen it, I recommend renting it, watching it before the episode comes out, because it's just an amazing, amazing film. Or you can wait for the episode. I'll have some tips, some spoiler-free tips about how to make that first viewing experience even better. There's your super random, super short episode. I promise more coming. And hopefully this is putting me that much closer to getting to 100 episodes this year. And I'm just grateful for films and talented creative people making amazing work that can make something as miserable as a cold a little more enjoyable through some amazing humor. So check it out. I don't even know how to name this, what to call it, I don't know. Just check out the short film. It's linked below, both on Vimeo and YouTube. Thanks for listening to these animation episodes. Thanks for indulging me in my passion and interest of animation. And I hope you enjoy this short film. So thanks for listening to The Basement Binge. There's not much more than that, but I promise more episodes are coming, especially Your Name. I have been extremely excited about this episode and to be able to watch this movie again. It's a movie that I would have never found if it wasn't for things like The Basement Binge. So thanks for listening. If this is your first episode, this is a very weird episode. Normally they're not at all like this. So download some others. I don't know. But thanks for being here. Thanks for downloading the episode. Thanks for listening. Thanks for your patience. Your Name is coming very soon. Hopefully I can get over this cold quickly. Anyway, I'm Harrison. This is The Basement Binge. That's all for now. Ciao, ciao.